Hello, welcome back to my channel, Checks Capture Chess. Today's video, we're going over the centre game. So, this is part of the Learn the Openings, and this is an e4 opening for white, and actually a very open centre, obviously being called the centre game here. It's very much pawns in the centre, and you're going to be getting the queen out early, depending on if black plays the right moves, and you're getting your knights, bishops, and castling very quickly. So we're going to be going through this today, and hopefully we can maybe see if you want to learn a different opening from the load we've already gone through already. So it starts off with e4, e5, d4. This is where we get into now the center game, and obviously we can just quickly analyze here. This is actually sometimes the best position here. So what we say is, if imagine the French here, we would play this anyway. And the reason why this is good here is we're able to get both these bishops out compared to if we were to play this. Obviously this is blocked when you have, like, you know, that sort of Queen's Gambit-like position. If I were just to show you here, when we have something like this, this obviously gets blocked, so we do not want that. But when you have this, what happens is these bishops can come out, our knights can come out, our queen can come out, and there's nothing in the way. So it's all easy to get through, and exactly, there's nothing that's going to be blocking other than maybe putting your pieces in the way after. Now, this is where we got a few plans. Now, the plan is to get everything attacking the centre and casting quickly. Now, what is black's next move? Now, realistically, the only move on the board is actually to take. If you was to play the second best move, which is actually d6, it's very easy to see why this might be quite bad, as they will have to take with having, obviously, not being able to castle. So, obviously, we're going to be really going for this main version here today. This is where we get the capture. Now, there's actually a few things we can do here, and the most popular is actually taking here. And after this, we're going to get this move here, and most of the time you can go to e3, and then after a few other moves, we might get something along these sort of lines of some sort, probably not that way, but of something like this. And now we're in a very symmetrical game, just with the queen on e3, and now it's really trying to get this pawn to be our push with f4 happening at a late stage. But there's a few other things we can do here. Now, I think another great move is knight f3. This causes a bit of trouble for black, I think, as it does give them an extra move technically to try and protect this move with the pawn, but this would obviously block the bishop in, and this gives a lot more struggle. The next best move would be this. Again, not the best, and I think you can just get captured here. And again, this is actually better for white because there is no knight to attack anymore. And other than that, the only other good moves here are just stuff like giving checks, where it's just going to be trying to delay this completely, where it's not going to help. So, what I would say is this move is very good here. If you want to, I would say this is more aggressive, yet still sometimes the best move. And now when this is played, the best kind of moves is queen e3 is really the move. But if you want to go for a more Scandinavian, like queen a4 is much reasonable, and I actually like this probably even more sometimes, only due to the idea of stuff like bringing the knight out, and also c4, easily able to come back to your original square at a very later stage. So you can obviously try and play back to that c2 area, but I would do that a lot later and make sure you have everything out. So, in my opinion, it's either way here, and what you're going to see is normal sort of positions along these sort of lines. Obviously, they're not going to be exact. I'm just going to play a few moves just to show you how, you know, we want to be, for us, we want to have our castling, the knight, queen, and bishop around this sort of area. Maybe this bishop can obviously have a better line. Maybe you want to try and do a pinch straight away. And this knight can obviously come out as well, trying to do some other things here. So, just to go over this opening here, would I recommend it? I actually would say this is a semi-decent opening. There's pros and cons to it, 100%. I think the pros is that it's a good opening for if you're obviously still starting the game and going all the way up to even like high 15, 16, 1700s here, just because it's very good to do all of your opening principles. This follows everything you want to with how to get the pieces out and everything. You're attacking the centre and everything like that. You're doing exactly what it's supposed to do. other than obviously technically getting the queen out early, but this is forced in my opinion, and you don't always have to do that anyway. You can play the knight move, but in my opinion the cons to it is it's a very, I wouldn't like to say the word basic opening, but it definitely has some ideas of that. It's very easy to, you know, the queen's going to be moving twice in 3 to 4 moves here, and it's not very good with that. And then they can also get a tempo sometimes. So I'd say if you play it like this, this is a very solid opening, and this could, you know, win games as high as you want, wherever level you're at. This can win games, and I think you've just got to take it on learning further than that as well, learn the middle game, and obviously trying to get certain positions on the end game. Obviously we wouldn't be able to judge that from the opening. Most of the time you can create a sense of where you think the pieces are going to end up, but I definitely think if they don't take here, you're definitely in a very much better position. When they try and play something weird, for example, like this as well, we obviously know what can happen, and we know how much struggle that they can go through. So this was the center game. Hopefully you enjoyed this Learn the Openings video. Just trying to show you here that this is a very different opening. This is, some people don't even know this opening probably. I do think that there is, you know, as I said, there is definitely pros and cons, but you can definitely learn the good to it, and obviously as black you can probably learn the counters to it. And I definitely think this is, for either side, a very much a winnable game. I wouldn't say it's like the Petrov where it's a drawn game, but it's definitely still chances on either end. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. So thank you, and bye bye.